this generation is the generation around the world who is against the dictatorship, against the corruption, against the terrorism, and against the extremism.
Con estas palabras se refería a los jóvenes de este tiempo la Premio Nobel de la Paz, Tawakkul Karman. Esto al participar en el foro Pensando el siglo XXI, populismo y posverdad. Los nuevos retos de la democracia liberal se llevó a cabo en la Universidad Autónoma del Caribe. El 23 de agosto pasado, en Barranquilla, Colombia, la activista alzó la voz en contra de los dictadores. Advirtió que será la juventud la encargada de terminar con estos malos gobiernos.
So I believe on youth around the world as well as the same that I believe on the youth in my own country, Yemen, and also in Arab Spring.
La también llamada Mujer de Hierro y Madre de la Revolución por los yemeníes, daba de esta forma su voto de confianza a nuestros jóvenes de América y también del mundo. Hay que mencionar que Tawakkul Karman es un emblema de la lucha por los derechos de las mujeres en el mundo árabe. Está considerada la madre de la rebelión pacífica en contra del dictador yemení Ali Abdullah Saleh, inspirada en la revolución de los jazmines de Túnez. Tawakkul Karman es periodista, política, defensora de los derechos humanos y Premio Nobel de la Paz en el 2011. Tawakkul Karman dirige actualmente el grupo Mujeres Periodistas Sin Cadenas y es hoy nuestra invitada en la era de las definiciones.
Ok, muy buenas noches, amigas y amigos. En este programa van a perdonar mi inglés, pero vamos a hacerlo en inglés porque tengo una invitada súper especial. So I want to do this program in English because I have a very, very, very special guest. It has to do with women. It has to do with women's rights. It has to do with women defending other women in very difficult environments. You will hear about this wonderful story that took this great lady to be Nobel prized by defending women. We're talking about Tawakkul, this great lady coming from Yemen, which we're going to hear her origin, her original community, her family, then school, university on the first part of the program. And from there on, we will go into the roots of how leadership becomes so effective, how leadership can impact the whole of a community, the whole of a nation, and today the whole of the world, because she goes around the world spreading this beautiful message that we're going to hear from her. So, Tawakkul.
Yeah.
I really thank you for being here with us. I think this great Mexican audience is going to be learning a lot, and especially about how leaders come to be, how you discover your leadership, how you discover your cause, that great cause that you have. So thank you very much. The stage is yours. We would like and love to hear about your whole life and all your accomplishments. So please, go ahead. Tell me about when you were born, the family, the community, your first time in school.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I am so honored to be here in your channel and also to be interviewed by you. And I am so happy that I am now talking to Mexican people to tell them that my first step for defending and human rights and or as you said for leadership was from knowing myself as a woman that defends for human rights at all, that defends on all society, that don't put walls and limit lines in front of her. So that was very important for me and for everyone in my society, because I present myself to them as their leader, as the woman who depend on their rights, on the civil rights for all the society, for men and women. So I gave the example for both of them how to lead. And that was just a step for the comprehensive battle for people in my country. Now women following me, men following me until this battle. How can we work for people, for all the people? Equality means that men equal to women, women equal to men. And that means we as leaders, we have to work for both of them.
Is there a point in time where you discovered these beliefs, these values that you had within, and you discovered this power to transmit and take them to others in a school, in the family? Where did you get the first feelings?
It was since I was a child, and I raised in a family, in a political family. My father raised us, how to be responsible. So how to be responsible and how to carry the initiative and how also to give the solution, not to wait for the solution. So that was very important values for me as a kid and for us as a family. So in all my history, since the school, since the college, all of that was struggle, a struggle against injustice, making demonstrations, peaceful demonstrations, also owning my dream and also spread this dream to the people around me. So that was, now I define myself as a woman, a Yemeni woman, an Arabic woman that represent those people, the people that dream for and that struggle for freedom and for justice and for democracy and for rule of law.
Describe me those injustices in Yemen and describe me a little bit about the country and why that happened.
Look, I think there is a lot of differences between Latin American and Arabic country and countries in Middle East. In Middle East, some of the countries in Latin America, not all of them, but in Arab countries and in my country, Yemen, we suffered a lot from the dictatorship regime, from the corruption, from the failure, from the war. So our country is very rich in many fields and has a lot of wealth. It has oil, has fish, has people, has environment. It's a very rich country comparing with other countries around. But what happened in my country, that it ruled by a dictator. His name is Ali Saleh, and a dictatorship regime. So we suffer a lot from wars because of him, because he used the wars as a tool to protect his rule, and from corruption, and also he wanted to give the power to his son, and why we are republic. So we refuse all this injustice.
Dictator.
He's a dictator, dictator with all the meaning of dictator, and the thief dictator. He steal everything in my country, and he wants the people to continue. He wants also this, dictatorship to give it to his son. I don't know the English word, but to give it the power to give it to his family. So Yemeni people refuse that. We get bored of his corruption and of his dictatorship and also of his failure and also of his wars, because in all period of his ruling, a lot of wars happened in my country between tribes, between ideologic, between sides, south and north, and that was his method of ruling the country. So we decided to make a peaceful revolution, and I am so honored that I was the one who called Yemeni people to make this peaceful revolution.
The chosen one.
that shows yeah,
You decided to be.
no, that is something that I am so honored, because not because I am the one who do that. No, because the Yemeni people accept that. Because now there is a there is a wrong image about Yemeni people, that they don't accept women, that they exclude women. No, when woman represent herself as a leader, as a one that can carry her society with the society, people accept her. That is what happened with me. Yemeni people, before that, as they said, Yemeni people doesn't accept women, they don't respect women. But I told the Yemeni people, I am here, and they said you are here, and they really respect me, and now they really respect women, to lead, their battle. So. It's a really long battle for freedom. Again, it's long battle for freedom, for equality, for democracy, for rule of law. Until now, we are still fighting, against this dictator and his counter-revolution.
Islam, you're Muslim.
Yes.
How much religion has to do with this situation you have described? Have something to do or not?
No, Islam, like other religions that respect freedom, that respect human rights, that call for values. So when we go and call for equality, for democracy, for freedom, for justice, we call for the values that Islam calls for. We call for the values that Christianity calls for. We call for the values that Judaism calls for. For the Buddhists, it's the values, the humanitarian values. So it's something, humanitarian values that we work for, struggle for, and sacrifice for. And still we didn't finish, our battle. We're still in the battle. We made our peaceful revolution before 6 years. We're still facing a lot of obstacles. Now we face a counter-revolution, because, as you know, that we win in the first step, that we push the dictator Ali Saleh to resign, as the same what happened in Egypt, as the same what happened in in Tunis. But now, all Arab region, and especially in Yemen, we are facing counter-revolution. In Yemen, we are facing coup, led by the ousted president Ali Saleh, the dictator, and the militia of Al-Houthi. And also in Egypt, people there, they are facing counter-revolution led by military, coup. So we are still in the battle of freedom. So freedom has a lot of price, and we are willing, to pay it for our generation, for the peace around the world.
You're opening your face.
Yeah.
Is that a message, or is something that is important to you? Why?
For me, covering my face, it means covering my message. So I want my message to deliver in a very strong way, and also in the very right way. So my impression has to be there, and I have to give connection with the people. So I couldn't continue my rule as a one that say that I am the one, I am the responsible. This is that we should make it, as men, as women, if we want the good for our society, for our world, we should say that I am the responsible. So I said I am the responsible to do something. So how can I do that for my society while I am covering my face?
Face to face.
Exactly.
You look at the face.
Exactly.
Of the other.
So I decided to take it out. But also, when I decided to take it out, I didn't say that those women who put it, that they are wrong. They have, it's their choice. I advise them, if they will participate in public life, it's very good for you and for the people that have benefit from you, and to have a good communication. So I decided, I advised her, if you take it off, it will be better. But absolutely, I am against any violation against them, because it must be her choice to put it, to take it off, you know, and the same thing with the scarf, the same thing, it's the
Freedom.
right, it's right, you know, it's her decision.
Good.
Yeah.
You have any family yourself?
I have 3 kids.
3 kids.
Yeah.
Tell me about them.
Wala, she's a daughter, she's a girl, she's now 19 years old.
University now?
Yeah, she's studying medicine.
Great.
And then Alia, she's 14. And Ibrahim, he's 13. So 2 girls and 1 boy.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
Where are you living in today?
Now, unfortunately, I live in Doha, in Qatar, because now I am in exile after, you know, the ousted President Ali Saleh, the dictator, make coup in 2014, in September 2014, and he occupied the capital. And now I am in the exile, but also I am inside. Yani I am with the people. We are the people still, you know, struggling against him. And this winning of counter-revolutions in Arab regions, it's a fake winning. They will lose very soon because we are the people who carry the dream of freedom and justice and democracy. And this is the era of change around the world, not just in our country. So there is no any future for the dictators. There is no any future because the people decided to rid them off. So we are there, and I am very optimistic. Yes, I am sad with all that what's happening now, but also I am so optimistic that the people who carry the dream and who struggle for the dream of democracy and rule of law and peace, they will be the winner.
So this compares to the Procuradora Attorney General from Venezuela that was forced because of violence, menace, pressure from the dictator to move out. Would you think now she's got a new trench from which to keep fighting for the change in his country?
Look, I call all the people around the world, you know, to fight and to struggle peacefully against the dictatorship. There is no future for dictatorship in our, you know, in the 21st century. So we have to work for that, and we have to help each other for making that happen. We need this world to be without dictatorship. We need this world to be without corruption. We need this world to be without racism. And now, unfortunately, with the raising of dictatorism, also there is a raising of racism. So I believe that we people that belong to this world can make it. And I'm so proud that people in Arab Spring did it and still did it.
El fenómeno social surgido en Medio Oriente, en el que el pueblo se rebeló en contra de sus dirigentes por querer instaurar una democracia, es conocido como Primavera Árabe. Se trata de una lucha que fue detonada el 17 de diciembre de 2010, cuando un vendedor tunecino se suicidó para protestar por su miserable situación. El comerciante fue despojado por la policía de sus mercancías y también de sus cuentas de ahorros. En respuesta, se inmoló. Este acto fue seguido de una serie de protestas en las redes sociales, que encontraron ahí su mejor vehículo para ir en aumento. Así los ciudadanos continuaron manifestándose hasta que el dictador Ben Ali huyó con su familia a Arabia Saudita. El siguiente en caer fue el egipcio Hosni Mubarak. Tomaron 18 días de manifestaciones para derrocar sus 30 años de gobierno. La primavera siguió su paso por Libia, Yemen y Siria. Los gritos del pueblo inconforme para que cayeran los regímenes retumbaron en las calles. En esta efervescencia, Yemen tumbó a su dictador, al recordado Ali Abdullah Saleh. Lo hizo por medio de un plebiscito. Mansur Hadi quedó como presidente. Este proceso estuvo acompañado de manifestaciones en las que los yemeníes llevaban cintas rosas, simbolizaban la revolución de los jazmines e indicaban su intención de no violencia. Sin embargo, Saleh no aceptó el resultado. Gracias al apoyo del ejército y de los milicianos hutíes, dio un contragolpe militar que obligó a Hadi a buscar refugio en Arabia Saudita, desatando lo que muchos han llamado una contrarrevolución. Este hecho ha desatado en Yemen una de las peores catástrofes humanitarias en Medio Oriente, debido a la falta de alimentos.
You can't trial people and then you can't judge that their revolution failed. We're still in the revolution. We're just 6 years. We're still in the process of making the history for the world. Now in Venezuela, for example, or even here there is a two example here in American Latin, in Venezuela or in Colombia now we in Yemen and in Arab region, we face two kind of problems, which is the dictatorism and also now the militia, the armed groups. How can we deal with both of them? With the dictatorism, there is no solution that they will continue the rule and the power. They have to get out now, not later. They have to get out because dictatorism is the resource is the root of corruption, of terrorism, of violence, of wars, of extremism. So every dictator is a terrorist, and every terrorist is a dictator. So we should work very hard with those dictators if we want to reach to the peace, if we want to reach to the development, if we want to reach to justice, if we want to reach to to democracy. Now with the militia, and this is very important thing. Now with the militia, and this is a very important with the militia, with the armed group, and we need to reach to the peace, sustainable peace. And what does sustainable peace means? Sustainable peace means that again, state without dictator, and groups, movements without weapons. The state has to be the only body that owns the weapons, no other group. So the groups has to be, all the groups has to reach to their to their goals without violence. That means that they should be political party. They should transfer themselves to be political party. Then also transitional justice. What does transitional justice mean? Transitional justice means that the victims has to have their rights, and also the procedure that this crime has to be fulfilled, that the crime will not repeat. We should trial the crimes itself before trialing the criminals. So it's very important that we have to make the process that guarantee that the crimes will not be repeat. And also the leader of massacres, they should be trialed, or if there is any kind of amnesty should be with conditions. They shouldn't lead any political and public job, and also they shouldn't admit their crimes. So this is the things that we call, how can we make with the militias, and we call the militias to be part of the society, but first they have to hand over their weapons and they have to participate in building our countries. How? They should transfer themselves to be political party.
Yes, we understand the Nobel Prize now.
Thank you.
Courage,
yeah.
Your power within, your convictions, your beliefs, it's incredible. So we're going for a break right now, and we'll come right back.
Thank you.
We speak about the spring, the Middle East and Arab Spring, which I think is a key issue in your life. Great. Estamos de regreso con ustedes. Muchísimas gracias por su atención. Esta es una conversación fantástica. Arab Spring, Middle East. Was that the moment that took you to such a powerful, dynamic public life out of that situation that all these countries lived? And tell me about that spring and what it ended up with.
Look, my struggle, for peaceful movement was before the Arab Spring. I led a lot of sit-ins, a lot of demonstrations in my country, peaceful demonstrations, and that was the most important act in my country before the Arab Spring, because that was something very strange, that a woman go to the street telling people, wake up, we should be together, against this dictator, and also to peaceful movement as a peaceful demonstration as it is. In my country, the society own, the people own more than 60 million piece of weapons. So that was strange, calling for peaceful way for taking, the rights instead of violence. It's something that was strange. But for me, myself, and the people was around me, it wasn't strange. It was a very logic thing that we didn't say that it must happen now, achieve now. We saw that one day it will achieve, and that is what happened in Arab Spring. So Arab Spring, or the revolution of Tunis in January 14, helped us a lot, and it's convinced the people that all our struggles since 2006, it was a real good, struggle, and it's the right struggle, and that's people listen to us more, and also arresting me by the dictator Ali Saleh, when he arrested me, that also gave me more power, more reaching to the people. He thought that he will shutting my mouth and he will stop my activity, but he was very stupid, because he gave me more power to reach to the people inside Yemen, also to the international.
Arrested means you went to jail?
Yes,
physically?
They kidnapping
How
me.
long?
Yeah, they kidnapped me. It was at that time, they kidnapped me many times, but the most important that time, it was that, to 22nd of January. It took 3 days, and it was the worst days of the dictator, because the Yemeni people go to the street, raising my pictures, telling him, release Tawakkul, and not just release Tawakkul, they repeat the slogan that Tawakkul was repeating, which is people want to step down the regime. People want to build a new country. So that was a very important thing. And also the Arab Spring with Tunis, and also after that with Egypt, gave our people more, more belief that peaceful way is the only way to reach to your, goals, and also, to stand against the dictatorship. So that is very important. Arab Spring is very important for the region, for Arab region, and also for all over the world. Because imagine that those people, those peaceful people that could free the world from a dictator like Ali Saleh, and from a dictator like Al-Qaddafi, and from a dictator like Hosni Mubarak, and inshallah from the dictator like Bashar al-Assad, and from the dictator Ben Ali. That is a very big gift for the world, because they are the one who create the terrorists, and they are the one who create the unsafety, and they are the one who create, the imbalance between rights and between justice and injustice. But also, again, we still, it's just the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's just the beginning. We're still in our revolution. I'm telling you, while we are in it. So it isn't something I'm thinking about the past. No, we are still in the revolution. We are still in the Arab Spring, and it must be, lead to the democratic country.
Has to communicate. how much technology, mobiles, telephones had to do with that, or you went out on the street with a microphone speaking to people, or you went around the country. How did you communicate? How do you develop all this movement?
For me, I used technology in a very good way. And my using technology, it was the most, the most, important thing that make the dictator regime afraid. First, I use SMS mobile, which is SMS mobile was at that time. I used it in 2006. It was just monopolized by the army of the dictator Saleh. So I have my brothers have a good knowledge on technology, and they create a program for me that can send people, 10,000 people, messages. So that was a very, and we break this block, this and that was a very important way how to use technology, how to reach to the people. So through Bila Qiyud SMS, which is without chains SMS, we reach to like 50,000 people to their numbers, telling them about the violation in their cities, and also after that calling them for the demonstrations. So that was, and that is one of the things that let the president, the regimes to close it. They close it 2 times, but we are in the internet, area, so we have a lot of, choices. After that, using, Facebook, it was also my way to communicate, but also media itself, the journal, the newspapers. I am a journalist and I am political writer, so my also articles reach to the people who didn't have internet, who didn't have electricity, who didn't have. And other thing, as you said, the microphone, going to the streets, don't fear from anyone. Even I have bad customs, bad traditions, and a bad authoritarian regime, but I was there. We were there.
Media was not controlled by the authority, by government?
TV.
Totally controlled?
Yes, and that was one of the most important demand for us before the revolution, because the revolution came after many demands to make political reforms, to make media reforms, but he didn't answer to us. So one of the demands is to free media, is to the right of people and organizations and parties to own TVs and radios. So the TVs and radios was monopolized by the government. The only thing that they gave license is the newspapers. But even with the newspapers, it's under the control, the license under the control. But let me say something, that this is all this, all this struggle, all this, it was before the revolution. Free media, free expression, also democracy, justice, a lot of things. After the revolution, in the transitional period, we as a Yemeni give a very good example, and they call it a success story. We made a national dialogue. This national dialogue gathered all the people, even the party of the ousted president. So we didn't exclude anyone, just the dictator and his family. So we call all of them to come with us in the national dialogue, and inside the revolution and inside the transitional period, all the demands that we call for, like free media, free opinion, free parties, etc., in this period, we fulfill it as a revolutionary people that ruled the country in the transitional period with the legitimate president. But unfortunately now, after the coup that led by the counter-revolution and the coup that led by the ousted President Ali Saleh, all this victory, all this Victor's values destroyed. He now blocked all the websites, closed all the TV channels, all the radio, the newspapers. Anyone now, thousands of people in the prison disappeared. War is there. So we are really facing
this
a very
reminds me so much of what's going on in Venezuela.
Yeah.
It seems to me that you're describing
Yeah.
the situation in Venezuela now. But so these struggles, these fights are for long because the Arab Spring has not consolidated yet.
Yeah.
We don't yet see what is expected, what people dreamed about.
Of course.
Still, it continues.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Yes, this is our revolution is continued, and this is every great revolution followed by counter-revolution. This is the history of all.
Counter-revolution.
Yeah, this is the history of all great revolutions around the world. So we really still in the second step of the revolution, that we face an ugly counter-revolution. But also the history tells us that always the people win that battle. If they continue their dream and if they didn't give up. And we didn't. We will not
keep
give up.
that dream alive, that capacity to strive and to struggle. It's leaders like you that motivate,
Yes, there is.
that bring faith and
Exactly.
hope to the revolution.
A lot of people now start, look, the most important point that we did that break the fear. So this is the real revolution before any act. So breaking the fear, going to street, forcing the ousted president, the dictator to sign, that is the most important thing. Others is details. So now because of that, people didn't lose their hope. Even when they have an ugly war, really it's an ugly war, led by Ali Saleh and his alliance militia of Al-Houthi and Iran from one side, and also now betrayed by our alliance that want now that want now to control the Yemen. They said that they are with us while they are now want to occupy Yemen. For example, the UAE, Emirates Arabia, now they want to they said they are with the legitimate president, but then now they want to occupy Yemen. So now we are as a Yemeni in a very two fires, but we carry the water. That will so the well is there, people is there in Yemen. If you see Yemeni people, they didn't lose their hope, but every day, they've been more convinced that they make the good and the right choice when they decided to force the dictator to leave the authority.
Iron woman.
Thank you.
Tawakkul Karman cofundó en el año 2005, junto con otras 7 periodistas, la organización Women Journalists Without Chains, Mujeres Periodistas Sin Cadenas. Una organización que provee de medios y capacita a las periodistas que defienden los derechos y también las libertades civiles, especialmente la libertad de expresión. Incluso hace uso de nuevos medios de comunicación para documentar las violaciones de los derechos humanos. La organización en 2010 contaba con 20 activistas que fundamentaban denuncias y ayudaban a los activistas a publicar sus propios videos y blogs en un sitio web. Además, producían documentales y un programa de televisión sobre la libertad de expresión en Yemen. Este grupo ganó fama en su país después de defender un servicio de telefonía móvil de noticias que le fue prohibida en el 2007, tras lo cual lideró las protestas por la libertad de prensa. Karman denunció que recibió amenazas. Fue objeto de acoso por parte de las autoridades yemeníes por su negativa a aceptar el rechazo del Ministerio de Información a la fundación legal de un periódico, además de una emisora de radio ligada a su organización. En 2007, Mujeres Periodistas Sin Cadenas publicó un informe que documentaba los abusos a la libertad de prensa en Yemen desde el año 2005 a la fecha.
Now, tell me about the future. Tell me about your foundation and your intense work you're doing around the world, not only for women and gender equity and women's rights, but also democracy rights, freedom rights. Tell me a little bit about, because we're running out of time, the future and your foundation. Where is it? What are you doing today?
Where is the future for Arab Spring and for Yemen? The future is a great country with the rule of law and with democracy and with peace. I promise all the people around the world that we will reach to this moment. The future that I carry as a person, because I am one of this, future, with the people. But I have a lot of works, inside Yemen, as you should see, and outside Yemen with the UN in the Sustainable Development Agenda. And also, from other hand, I have my own foundation called Tawakkul Karman Foundation. This foundation is working in many countries. In Africa, we'll start working in this Central Africa and in Somalia, and now we are searching that we will work here in Latin America, and maybe we will work with your organization.
You're welcome to
Yeah,
Mexico,
I am so happy,
sure.
and I will visit Mexico very soon. And also in Yemen, a lot of works. Now Yemen suffering also from the humanitarian, crisis. Yemen now under poverty. Yemen now under hunger. Yemen now under disease. Cholera is there, and now the lack of education. Yemen needs a lot. So we're trying to do something as an institution, to do something in my own country, in building some hospitals, in building some projects. So this is a Tawakkul Karman Foundation. But me as Tawakkul, I'm working in the peace process, in the development area, and I hope that I will do best for the world.
How do you feel accomplishing what you are? I notice you're a very happy woman. You're happy with yourself. You're happy with what you do. How do you get to that level? Tell the people what would be your final message.
Look, I am so happy because I still dream.
You don't dream.
I still dream. I still continue.
You still dream.
I still
Right.
dream. So I will not lose my hope. I will not lose my dream. And I know this dream is the way to achieve. Without my dream, I will lose everything. And as well as my own people. Because again, you should think about your people, your society, dream for the people. So how can I lose the hope? How can I lose this big dream that I convinced the people to dream with me? So yes, I am so happy. I am so sad because what is happening now, the conspiracy against our great revolutions, but also I am so happy because I know the destiny. I know the light. I saw the light, at the end of the road. So yes, I'm so happy because I know the future. For if I just say, oh, there is war, there is conflict, oh no, it's sad moment, but also this is just step. It will stop if we continue dreaming and if we continue acting for achieving our dream.
¿Cómo se contagia esta idea de soñar, to have a dream, de tener purpose, de tener propósito, pero en este caso también performance, también resultados. Es maravilloso, es wonderful. Thank you very much for
Thank you, President.
gifting us with your thoughts,
Thank
with
you.
your smile,
Thank
with
you.
your power, with your beliefs. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so happy. Thank you, President. Thank you.